Hey guys, Bios and Ramos, and background's a little different. I'm currently, you won't believe it, I'm in Tennessee right now. No, I didn't think the game was in Nashville. I'm currently in Chattanooga for some family, friends type stuff, and you know, I will be coming back in time for the game, so there will be a game day vlog of the Monday Night Football Dolphins versus Tennessee Titans in Miami. It would have been really ironic. It would have been really great, honestly, if this game would have been in Nashville. I could have literally just driven across the state and gone to this game. But, it is what it is. I'm not complaining. It's a night game at the Hard Rock. So let's talk about this matchup. Currently, this matchup is on ESPN. It's a nationally televised game, but there's a doubleheader. So the last 2 weeks, the ESPN and ABC have been doing two Monday Night Football games. They typically do this at the beginning of the year and typically at the end of the year. So right now, the Dolphins are for ESPN on September 30th, and the game kicks off at 7:30. I'm not a fan of the 7:30 kickoff, but we'll make do. And then, historically, Miami fans in general are always late to come to games, so it's been good for the Dolphins. Fans have been getting in the stadium pretty well. But a 7:30 kickoff is not great for the state of Miami. Currently, both of these teams not looking so great. Titans are 0-3, they're 0-1 on the road. Dolphins are 1-2, 1-1 at home. We'll get more into some of that stuff in a sec. But the other Monday night game is going to be primarily on ABC. That is going to be the Seattle Seahawks versus the Detroit Lions. So just make sure you're watching. You have the right channels for what you want to watch. If you want to watch Seattle Seahawks versus the Detroit Lions, you're on ABC. If you want to watch Tennessee Titans and Miami Dolphins, you're on ESPN. And I don't know if they're doing the Manning-cast. I would assume they are. Let's talk about the gambling lines. So currently the Dolphins are favored by -1 in terms of the spread, but it opened up at -0.5 point for the Tennessee Titans. It's insane. It's been shifting back and forth the whole time. But as of late, it's been favored more so on the Miami Dolphins side, but the line hasn't moved like crazy in terms of numbers. It's just flipped, This week, this day, this team's favored, this day, this team's favored. Let's see what's happening here. Over-under set at 36.5 points. Both of these teams not putting up a crazy amount of points as of late. We'll talk about that in a second. And then in terms of money line, currently Tennessee is listed as even, so I think it's 100 flat. And the Miami Dolphins are at -120. So Dolphins are slightly favored in this matchup in terms of betting, but according to ESPN's match predictor, not so much. Dolphins are favored by 42.8% to Tennessee Titans 56.8%. Let's talk about some injuries. Well, really quick, game time weather, 86 degrees, partly cloudy, with a little bit of sunshine peeking through. Not so bad. Given the current state of the weather in South Florida in general, just a big hurricane coming through. Let's talk about some injuries. So since I haven't really spoken about the Tennessee Titans on this channel, I'm going to run through all their injuries just to give you guys an update on any of their players that you guys may take an interest in. So they have Marlon Davidson, defensive tackle, is on injured reserve with a biceps injury. All these guys on the list are on injured reserve. They also have Garrett Wallow, linebacker, with a pectoral injury. Colton Dowell, wide receiver, with a knee injury. He's actually out. Everyone else right now that's going to be listed as injured reserve. Chance Campbell, linebacker, is on injured reserve with a knee injury. T.K. McClendon Jr., defensive end, with a toe injury. Cedric Gray, linebacker, with a shoulder injury. And confirmed out is Chidobe Awuzie, cornerback. He is out with a groin injury. And then in terms of questionables for the Seattle Seahawks, we have Amani Hooker, safety, just listed as questionable. And then Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle, listed as questionable with an elbow injury. So that's going to be an interesting piece moving forward. I'll talk about it more when we get to the keys of victory, so stay tuned for that. And then for the Miami Dolphins, just some updates from since the Seattle game. Storm Duck is listed as questionable with a shoulder injury. He suffered it like in the third quarter of the game. It was pretty unfortunate to see. He's actually getting some decent playing time. Want to see what's happening with him moving forward. And hopefully, soon enough, we can get Cam Smith off the injured reserve and help out with that secondary. In terms of players who are listed as questionable, which is a lot from the Seattle game, is David Long Jr., linebacker with a hamstring injury. Skylar Thompson, quarterback with rib injury. Both of these guys have nothing listed about it, but Sierra Neal, cornerback, and Alec Ingold, fullback. I think Alec Ingold got his feelings hurt on that play that he thought the referees blew the whistle, which they did. They did nothing about it. Unfortunate. Raheem Mostert, not confirmed out for this game, but listed as questionable. Still dealing with the chest injury from week 1. Same thing for Malik Washington, quadriceps injury. Let's see what happens. Teron Armstead, offensive tackle, listed as concussion injury, listed as questionable. So let's see what happens. Same thing for Kendall Fuller, cornerback. So Dolphins are a bit thin, and the injury list is long. Let's see if some of these players can play. I have no shame of Patrick Paul starting in place of Teron Armstead currently. He did well when he came in against the Seahawks. He's done well when he's come in games past in the last 3 weeks. So far, so good with Patrick Paul. I think, nothing of great things for him. Hopefully the Dolphins really, found the diamond in the rough in terms of the second-round pick. I think, a lot of people were kind of screaming at the Dolphins for not taking a prominent offensive lineman in the first round. They ended up getting Chop Robinson, who hasn't done anything too crazy so far into 3 weeks into his career. But Patrick Paul has come in. Whenever he has come in, he has done well. So really rooting for him. The guy's huge. Me, Chris, and my cousin Ashley had actually gone to the Dolphins training camp one of these days, and Patrick Paul came and talked to the crowd and was signing some stuff. And man, that guy's huge. And also he's just one of those guys who, infectious smile and really brightens the room. So really excited to see what he can do for this Miami Dolphins team. And given the injury to Teron Armstead, pulling for him, hoping, if he does get some playing time, that he does be efficient and, really make a difference for this Miami Dolphins offensive line, who has been struggling, to say the least. All right, let's talk about, these teams in their first 3 weeks. Hasn't been great. For the Tennessee Titans, at least they've been a little consistent. They've been scoring about 2 touchdowns a game. Miami Dolphins, the offense has been lackluster from the very beginning. Barely inked out a win against the Jacksonville Jaguars, but aside from that, both these teams, have more than 2 losses. At least for the Tennessee Titans, they did suffer literally the same score, 24-7 in the first 2 weeks, and then ended up losing 30-14 last week against the Green Bay Packers. Meanwhile, the script has been much different for the Miami Dolphins. They did win against the Jacksonville Jaguars 20-17 in week 1, and they have not led for a single second. That was a game-winning field goal. They were tied at 17 apiece. They kicked a field goal with the final seconds. Clock expired. Dolphins won the game. Dolphins have not led a single second in the 2024 season. And you can see why, because they got blown out in the other 2 games. 31-10 loss against the Buffalo Bills, and then a 24-3 loss against the Seattle Seahawks. And in my opinion, that Seattle Seahawks game could have been totally different. Now, the Dolphins could have, with a more efficient offense, they could have been able to put up points and, get in good field position. They couldn't do it. And, I hate to just be like, it was Skylar Thompson's fault. He wasn't great. But he was also getting hit left and right. It wasn't great for him. But aside from that, the offensive play calling, in my opinion, wasn't great. You need to make this as easy as possible. Now, when I said that, I didn't mean throw a bunch of screens to these guys. I meant, be efficient offense. Quick slant read. If he's not open, you have your check down. Boom. Get the ball out of your hands. And Skylar Thompson was holding on to the ball too long. On top of that, they abandoned the run game. Certainly so. You're down. You need to get points. But you need to have a great offensive identity with Tua not being in the lineup moving forward for the foreseeable future. So, you can't just plug a nosebleed with like a single ply of toilet paper. You need a lot. And what you need to do is find a new offensive identity and make it as easy for this quarterback as possible. Whoever it's going to be, whether it's going to be Skylar Thompson with this rib injury, I don't think he's going to be playing in this game. Whether it's going to be Tim, whether it's going to be Tyler. Like you need Tyler Huntley. Like you need to make it as easy as possible for these guys to come in and, run the offense. They don't need to be world beaters, but they need to just run the offense. As far as keys to victory go, we're going to get into that right now. So first and foremost, we're going to start on the defensive side of the ball because this game is going to be won by the Miami Dolphins defense. So the Tennessee Titans have not been great. They've been averaging about 2 touchdowns a game, which isn't horrible, but in the modern day of the NFL, if you're not scoring 3 or 4 touchdowns a game, it's not good offense. So moving forward, Tennessee Titans have been struggling with their quarterback play. Will Levis has been on what everyone is calling a generational run, making mistake after mistake in 3 consecutive weeks and arguably costing his team the game. You can definitely say it for the first 2 games. The third game, he got sacked a lot. So the first 2 games threw a really stupid pick 6 to the Chicago Bears, and the offense for the Chicago Bears couldn't put up any points. Jets game, tough one. Made a minor one. It was a backwards pass that ended up becoming a fumble, and the Jets jumped on top of it, and they lost by a touchdown. And then as far as it goes for the Green Bay game, he was sacked 8 times. So, if you get sacked that many times, yes, the offensive line is a problem, but at the same time, the quarterback needs to understand, I'm not getting a lot of time to get the ball out here. Got to get rid of it. And aside from that, he also did throw a pick 6 in that game. So really hoping, this run by Will Levis continues, and hopefully it can snowball into the Dolphins having a great defensive performance. But in all reality, this Tennessee Titans offense, they have some pretty good wide receivers. You have DeAndre Hopkins, you have Calvin Ridley, and you also have Tyler Boyd. That is a pretty good offense if we were in the NFL 4 years ago, but even then, it's still pretty decent receiving core for this young quarterback, his second year. As far as the other side of the ball for the Miami Dolphins, offensively, whoever is starting in the quarterback position need to supply them with a run game. Dolphins abandoned the run early in Seattle, and it burned them. They put the ball in Skylar Thompson's hands too much, and, he did nothing with it. Now, I'm not saying whoever is going to be playing quarterback this week for the Miami Dolphins is going to be clueless back there, but, you want to supply this quarterback with a great running game. How the hell do we have Jalen Wright have a big, first down run and then never let him see the field again in the entire game? Beats me. Given that, you don't have your lead running back right now with Raheem Mostert being out, you need to run the ball efficiently as well. So a lot of injuries on this Dolphins offense, and it's unfortunate for guys like Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill because they are not getting the ball and not being able to make plays as they might want. Jalen Waddle was probably the more prominent receiver in this game against Seattle, but it was in a losing effort, and the ball wasn't getting out to these players in a good amount of time. There was like a screen pass to Tyreek Hill that he just forgot how to use his hands, but he was going to get blown up anyways. I mean, it just did not look good. The play calling was not great. So I think the play calling needs to be more geared towards a running attack. You need to separate the gap between you and the opponent, and how you do that is you limit possessions, you run out the clock, and you make this a low-scoring affair. So in terms of gambling, those of you guys who think that's how the Dolphins are going to play this game, probably go with the under. Over-under set at 36.5. As far as that goes, so yeah, you definitely want to be a little more run-happy team. A third key to victory. Third key. You can't let anything that's going on right now in the locker room, in the atmosphere, can't let this storm affect you. There was a storm coming towards New Orleans not too long ago, and they had limited time to prepare for the Dallas Cowboys that went in there and smoked them. So those are things I want to see coming for this Miami Dolphins team. I want them to be on their stuff. Can't be having the same mistakes that they've been having the last 2 weeks. I know it is a tough thing to do without Tua in the lineup right now, but the Dolphins need to right the ship and get this offense moving in the right direction because the defense is playing well. And against a team like the Tennessee Titans, especially against Will Levis, the Dolphins are going to have plenty of opportunities to get the ball and put the Dolphins in great field position. So, need to take advantage of that. That's pretty much it. I will be traveling, hopefully on Sunday, back to Miami. and be there in time to watch the game on Monday night. So the vlog should be smooth sailing, but if anything else happens, I'll let you guys know. But aside from that, really excited. Another night game at the Miami Dolphins Stadium, Hard Rock Stadium, and it should be a fun one. But yeah, aside from that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.